Anthony Joshua won, Anthony killed this guy. Listen, a lot of questions, blah blah blah. Only one my answer. Anthony Joshua is Olympic champion. Yeah. First. Jack Paul is sportsman, YouTuber, showman. Rolls Royce, Fiat.
And that's just going to make him more dangerous. He's going to be terrifying, and he's going to have a lot to prove. He's going to be very angry that Jake Paul wants to fight him. Knows how to keep that stick in your face. He will keep that jab in his face, and that right hand, if it hits you, you're fucked.
There's no way in my mind I can see Jake Paul getting an upset or beating Anthony Joshua. It's a whole different ball game. This guy is a heavyweight. He's an Olympian. He's a world champion. He's all these different things.
Boxing experts are warning Jake Paul about the power of Anthony Joshua, especially since AJ looks in top shape during training camp. Analysts say Joshua's size, speed, and knockout power make him extremely dangerous, and one mistake from Jake could be costly, even though Jake has improved through hard gym work. Experts say he is entering a much higher level of boxing. Former trainer Shane Mosley agrees, saying he doesn't see how Jake wins and believes simply surviving the fight will be Jake's biggest challenge because Joshua's strength and experience are far beyond anything Jake has faced.
That you see of Jake potentially pulling this off? Can he get the upset? And what would it take?
There's no way in my mind I can see Jake Paul getting an upset or beating Anthony Joshua. It's a whole different ball game. This guy is a heavyweight. He's an Olympian. He's a world champion. He's all these different things. And Jake Paul is moving up to heavyweight. And they say Anthony Joshua's chinny, but he's chinny with people that are real heavyweights that punch hard, not with cruiserweights or heavyweights. So, with that being said, I mean, if Nate Diaz could take Jake Paul's punch at their particular weight, then what do you? I mean, you don't think Anthony Joshua would take Jake Paul's punch at that weight? I don't understand. I just can't see it. I think that it's a great publicity stunt, I guess, or whatever. But I can't see Jake beating Anthony Joshua. I just can't see it.
You're not training with him for this fight, right?
No, I'm not training for this fight. If I was,
there we go. What would you tell him?
If I was training with him,
what kind of game plan, right?
I wouldn't even know what to tell him.
You'd be at a loss?
I'd be like,
would you take the job? Yes, right?
I mean, I'd take it for him not to get hurt.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna. I can't say that I would say I think he's gonna win, but I would try different ways of like maybe trying to move around or get up under him or hold.
Boxing agent Sam Jones has raised serious concerns about Jake Paul fighting Anthony Joshua, calling the matchup extremely dangerous. He explains that if Joshua lands a clean punch, the damage could be severe, similar to the power AJ has shown against fighters like Francis Ngannou. Jones stresses that Jake must fully respect Joshua's size, strength, and knockout ability, because one mistake could instantly change the fight. He also says this fight cannot realistically be fixed, and if Jake were to beat AJ fairly, it would be one of the biggest upsets in boxing history. His comments highlight the huge gap in skill, power, and experience between the two fighters.
Could go really wrong if like I say, you want him to come out, no matter what anybody thinks about Jake Paul, you want him to get out of the ring and be safe. But the reality is, if AJ hits him like same way he hit Francis Ngannou, he could brown bread him, Jim.
So some would say it's scripted. Do you go with that?
No, I don't think it is, because I don't think Eddie or AJ would participate if it was scripted. That would affect AJ's legacy. Because, for example, if AJ somehow on this earth manages to get through a few rounds, or I mean, if he wins, people are on about, it's a huge no, it's the biggest upset in the history of sport, period, if he beat Anthony Joshua. I don't think you understand it, how one-sided this fight should be. We're talking about a very recent unified heavyweight champion of the world against Jake Paul, who lost to Tommy Fury. That's the reality of what we're looking at here.
You watch it?
I've never denied I'll watch it, because it's like when Simon Cowell used to get excited over magicians trying to climb out of a box. It's the jeopardy involved of trying to climb out the box, because you think, oh my life, what could go wrong here? That's what I'm watching it for the potential. I'm just being honest. I will watch it, but I just think that.
Do you think it's scripted?
No. I mean, I spoke to Eddie. Eddie thinks he'll get him out there without one big shot, but a cluster of punches will take him out. Because if he does take a big shot, like Ngannou took, he's going to get hurt, but he's going to get hurt anyway. That's the nature of the business. People do get hurt in a boxing ring. The best fighters get hurt. So he's not immune to it. The interesting thing will be is exactly how the conclusion of the fight will be and how it gets sold into the public, because people are going to fly around. I was going to go there and watch it, not because I felt the fight had any meaning, but because I wanted to understand the scale of what's going on with Netflix and what's the scale of something like this.
Anthony Joshua has been fully locked in during his training camp, focusing only on preparing for the Jake Paul fight. With a 245-pound weight limit in place, AJ has slimmed down and is reportedly looking leaner and sharper than he has in years, showing a ripped physique from intense training. He is working with elite coaches and staying isolated to remain focused. This serious approach reflects his background as a former two-time world champion and Olympic gold medalist, showing that his full attention is on fight night and performing at his highest level.
So what am I bringing differently? I wouldn't say a new mindset, but definitely like a new perspective. But ultimately, everything new has to lead to a win. So yeah, that's what I'll focus.
Chael Sonnen breaks down the fight and explains how difficult this matchup is for Jake Paul. He says that even if Jake had extra advantages, the size difference alone makes it very hard for him to reach Joshua's head cleanly. The fight has been promoted as a David versus Goliath story, with a smaller, less experienced Jake facing a bigger, stronger, and more accomplished Joshua. While this excites fans, Sonnen warns that the size, reach, and power advantage make the fight extremely dangerous. He also criticizes the promoters, saying the marketing focuses too much on hype instead of the real imbalance, making the fight appear more competitive than it truly is.
Right in front of this, it says there is no way on this earth that Jake Paul is going to knock out Anthony Joshua, because he's right. If they let him get in there with a shovel, he still wouldn't get the shovel to Joshua's head, and if he did, he wouldn't generate enough power to knock him out, all right? There's no way on earth, are the words of a world champion, and he's right. From a man who's half his size and had everyone talking trash on social media, to all of a sudden Jake Paul's the small guy, and he's taking on Joshua, who's towering over him. Now, what Bisping's referencing there is that when Jake Paul was preparing for this very date, for this very event on Netflix, he was getting ready for Tank Davis, where Jake himself had a huge size advantage, admitting that size matters. Just saying that my lack of experience can be balanced by me having 30, 40 pounds on you. Now, all of a sudden, that argument goes away, and that's what Bisping is speaking to. Bisping says he hits harder, referring to Joshua. He's the bigger man, talking about Joshua. He's got the longer reach. He's an Olympic champion. Jake Paul is not going to go out there and turn into a real-life David versus Goliath. That ain't happening. Everyone should know it. This fight has been frowned upon, not only because of the suggestions that the fight might be fixed, but also from people in the boxing world that look at this fight as a spectacle, a circus, a sideshow attraction. And for those reasons, this is...
Joe Rogan gives a strong warning to Jake Paul about Anthony Joshua's knockout power. Rogan explains that while Jake has fought former champions before, none compared to an Olympic gold medalist and former heavyweight champion like Joshua, he says AJ's power, combined with years of elite-level experience, creates a much tougher challenge. Rogan warns that underestimating Joshua could be dangerous, as Jake will have to deal with both technical skill and brutal punching power.
The 58-year-old Mike Tyson, and then you're going to fight one of the absolute scariest knockout artists in the heavyweight division. Maybe we should watch the Francis Ngannou fight so you could see. Let's watch that real quick, just so you can see what Anthony Joshua is capable if he's fighting someone that's not in his league. Okay, look, Usyk beat him, and he beat him twice, and Andy Ruiz caught him in the first fight and dropped him and stopped him. It was spectacular. Andy Ruiz is super fucking talented. Usyk is
Heavyweight boxer Cassius King offers a different view, questioning whether the fight will even happen. He says there are still unanswered questions and not enough official confirmation. As the event gets closer, according to him, the lack of transparency leaves open the possibility that the fight could be canceled. Even at the last moment, his comments reflect the uncertainty that often surrounds major events, especially when a fighter like Jake Paul comes from outside traditional boxing.
Yeah. Like, no doubt. Like, let's go, you know, like. So I was excited, but to be honest with you, as the fight got closer, I started to feel a little bit like something don't feel right. You know what I mean? Like, they don't feel right. Like, we don't have flights yet. We don't know when we're leaving. You know what I mean? Little stuff like that was kind of bothering me a little bit. And that day, Wednesday, it was Wednesday, I believe. That day we got the call like, yo, you know, they going in a different direction. And, you know, it sucked.
Did you know that different direction was Jake Paul?
No, I didn't. But I wasn't surprised either, you know what I mean? Because, you know, Jake Paul, listen, you know, all these guys, they businessmen.
When I put it into comparison,
Yeah.
AJ was going to fight an 8-rounder against Cassius Chaney.
Yeah.
For
Legendary trainer Teddy Atlas gives a balanced opinion by recognizing Jake Paul's hard work and dedication. He says that while Joshua's status as a heavyweight champion and Olympic gold medalist makes him a very dangerous opponent, Jake has made impressive progress for someone who started as a YouTuber. Atlas credits Jake's discipline and effort, saying his journey shows real commitment. Although Joshua is heavily favored, Atlas believes the fight is still an important milestone in Jake's boxing development.
Gold medalist in the Olympics, bigger, stronger, professional, top fighter, top amateur, against a guy who's been doing it for 4 or 5 years, and I give credit to Paul. You know, he's worked his backside off to build this promotional machine that he has, to build his dream, you know, to make this vision come to light. Incredible businessman, and incredible what he's done in the ring. That, yeah, he's picked the spots and everything else, but he still faced danger. And he still, you know, took it serious, where he's trained his backside off and where he's improved as a fighter. You know, does that put him in the class of a top professional fighter who's been doing it his whole life? No, of course not. But does that make you at least examine it? Yes. And when I examine it, I start with a couple things. First of all, Jake Paul is pretty damn smart. He hasn't made too many mistakes. I know it was the Tommy Fury fight. That was close. But
One loss.
There's one loss. But he hasn't made too many damn mistakes. And now, I mean, the guy's been a half a genius. And so I look at it and I said, all right, I want to look at everything. Don't look at just he's going to get killed. That's the easy way to look at it. It might be the right way. It might be. But I want to look at what you touched on, now go deeper. It's been 15 months. He hasn't fought, Joshua. Last time he got in the ring, he got destroyed. He got knocked out. That's hard to overcome. There's bats in the belfry. There's ghosts in the attic. That's hard to overcome. I mean, that's there.
Another key viewpoint comes from boxing analysts discussing the legitimacy of the fight. They say that despite Jake Paul's history of attention-grabbing events and rumors of fixed fights, this matchup with Anthony Joshua will follow professional rules. Joshua has denied any manipulation, confirming the bout will be a real contest. Analysts stress that both fighters will compete under official regulations, shutting down rumors of a staged outcome. They also point out that Joshua's size, strength, and experience give him a major advantage. With a big reach and weight edge, Joshua can control distance and pace, making it hard for Jake to land clean shots. At heavyweight level, power and durability matter as much as skill, and Jake must be fully prepared for the danger that comes with facing a larger, stronger opponent.
If you're Jake Paul, why on earth would you lose to Tommy Fury? Why would you fix losing to Tommy Fury? It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. The only way I possibly could have bought that would be if there'd been some kind of immediate rematch or a trilogy set up through it where they were just trying to generate more revenue because they looked at the scene and went, we don't have enough dance partners. But in reality, it makes no sense for Jake Paul to rig losing a fight. It just doesn't. And you could argue that maybe he rigged other fights after that, but I think there's more than enough evidence to suggest that Jake Paul had enough about him to go in and actually win those fights. Which I suppose speaks to the reality of his current level of ability, which is he might actually be a little bit underrated by some people. Maybe overrated by many too, because some people think in a real fight with Joshua, he has a fighting chance of knocking Joshua out. But generally speaking, I think that maybe people just don't understand that he's actually got okay at boxing. I mean, the only thing you could argue is maybe he's overlooking Jake a little bit. He clearly thinks he's far better and that Jake can't challenge him in any way, shape, or form, which makes you worried about complacency. But even a complacent Anthony Joshua should be able to get it done in there fairly comfortably against Jake Paul. We also have to consider Anthony Joshua's existing wealth. There's boxers who have been far less commercially successful than Anthony Joshua in their careers. And I could kind of understand them maybe being tempted by an offer from Jake Paul to rig a fight and take a load of money. But it just wouldn't make any sense for Anthony Joshua, who's already extremely wealthy. As far as I know, he doesn't have any issues with gambling or any stuff like that. So whilst he doesn't need the money, it's just easy money, which means it makes you sort of think, well, this must be a real fight if it's easy money.